Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
Cece, you let us know when to jump in.
Okay. It looks like everybody's out of the waiting room. Here we go.
Okay. So welcome to our, we call them long, wonderful Wednesdays. And for those of you that were with us both, started with IG this morning, and then our Solomon gathering, which was, I think, one of the more beautiful sessions. We all really enjoyed it. And then here we are for the continuation of this month's theme, which we have been exploring, if you're new this week, the nature of temporary satisfaction. And the whole consideration of temporary obviously brings in the spectrum, the realm of time and space. It brings in the realm of infinite and finite. And all of these considerations or inquiries in and around a reconnective healing experience are very, very valuable. So just a quick recap, we started the theme around the nature of temporary satisfaction using the lens of health. And we want to revisit a little bit each lens so that we can begin to, against the truth of our own experience, observe how these lenses actually in a way overlay one another. We went from temporary satisfaction of health to the temporary satisfaction of wealth. And today we're going to delve into spirituality and faith, and we'll wrap this theme up with the nature of temporary satisfaction and love. But one of the questions we asked you in the first week was, is everything body-mind temporary satisfaction? And just take a second, ask the question, jot down whatever comes to you. If you choose to compare it against week one, is everything body-mind temporary satisfaction? Is relief, the sensation of relief, temporary satisfaction? And we would posit to you that certainly with respect to health and wealth, we might have, in the truth of our own experience, good reason to agree or say yes to both of those questions. So the understanding that everything body, mind is temporal. And let's kind of, rather than temporary satisfaction, let's even lie into this, the idea of something that is temporal. But that knowing releases in a way our impulse, that impulse to be in conflict between awareness and experience. If indeed the understanding that everything body-mind is temporal, there is a freedom in that impulse for there to be a conflict between awareness, that which we are, being aware that we're aware, and experience, which we're going to explore today in a little different way.
And hopefully, I think with some examples that helps. As Jillian mentioned, there's no conflict between awareness and objective experience. Awareness shines in the midst of objective experience, and then as awareness itself. Experience, of course, being temporary, temporal, finite, whatever words that we're looking for, still has awareness shining through it, therefore meaning that there is the infinite experienced in the finite experience.
So again, the nature of temporary satisfaction when it comes to the body mind, it can be a break. In a way, it can be embraced. You don't have to sort of feel less than or less worthy when there is the fulfillment of something that is body mind, and then it disappears. We're feeling inspired and very neurologically alive, and everything in our, smell and sight and taste and touch is just absolutely enlivened. And then for no reason, no circumstance at all, or maybe some enormous circumstance, we awake in a deep state of depression or sadness, or often in that expression, sometimes everything is spun into a fury of thinking and questioning, and we question, I'm going to say, the very nature of this very finite existence. We apply to it something that has no real application in the expression of what we are as experience or through experience. And it doesn't leave what may be a very good and healthy metaphor, sort of this open system that we can adopt, even knowing what we know at this point, which is that we don't know. We do not know the theory of everything. We do not. Physics and science and quantum physics and every potential investigatory, and I'm going to throw into that philosophy, art. Okay, that is the seeking and the searching. So allowing that open system to be what it is, and allowing experience to be these pockets of closure, in the same way that we experience with a reconnective healing experience, almost invertly, in the inversion of it. Often somebody comes for a healing session, they're not coming consciously because they say, I'm going to have a reconnective healing experience so that I can return to the before beyond, or that I can remember an open system. Often it is, there is a closure, there is an experience or an event that is provoking this need
So
for satisfaction, a change
So closure pockets in awareness could be similar to
in experience.
in experience. Well, wait. Experience being finite.
We could just
It's not an
metaphorically.
enclosure pocket of the infinite,
Yes.
which is awareness, for example.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that's what I thought it was saying. Yeah, I got confused. So closure or enclosure pockets of the infinite exist in the finite in many different ways. This is an example of one. For instance, on from YouTubers, we found out that our our team in Mexico, our volunteers are very sad because the father of one of our dear friends, Betty Morphin, passed away last Monday. It's interesting, and of course we feel for Betty very much. She's a lovely woman. And it's interesting the timing that this just came through now, because again, every human being, by virtue of being an experience, is a closure or an enclosure of the infinite.
Oh, that's really vast.
It is vast.
It's very vast. And we, Blanca and Betty, we want to tell you how much we love you and we're with you. We're going to take this I want to keep this.
Yeah, it's
very-
gonna make something pretty big. if
Yes,
We go into this.
let's try to stay in a very simple thread here. We're exploring the nature of temporary satisfaction, and we're looking at this in a way as the most constantly familiar perception that we experience in all daily activities, in the activity of life.
So in sending our condolences and expressing our condolences, it did open up a very vast area that we probably cannot get into today, but thank you for communicating that and
Yeah.
do accept our condolences.
So I just want to kind of
Continue.
back to where we were. So in the early stages of the reconnective healing experience, do we point to or notice the dissolving of objective experience or thinking? Just put in the chat. In whatever way you've been exposed to a reconnective healing experience, did and or was there a reflection or an experience or noticing that there was some dissolving of objective experience or thinking, be it during the session, after the session, a continuation of the session? Some of you may notice it as sort of a constant state of temporary satisfaction as you are flowing more seamlessly between what we'll call awareness and experience. It is a little more challenging to hold on to knowledge as this capacity or reception is more active in what we'll call daily life, eyes open. So just put it to the chat if that is an observation. We are exposed to this energy, light, and information, or the before, beyond, where there is nothing temporal. And again, sometimes we heard it a lot this morning in the IG, Instagram, this temporary relief, it's referred to as peace sometimes, happiness. It is a relief experienced. And then we create another temporal, we'll say, practice where we, because of this relief, in a way, we create another temporal practice of not thinking. And sometimes meditation becomes a bit of a dependency, or these ways that we find the conflict at hand in our daily life. Once we've been exposed to, let's say, a certainty in chaos, we want to hold on to it. We just want to hold it and keep it. So we want to integrate, I think, a deeper understanding and understand what drives temporal relief. And in that, if we don't make thinking a problem, then thinking is then shining with awareness or the knowing of it. And in part, the nature of temporary satisfaction and spirituality is that ping pong. It's the willingness, in a way, the free will to recognize conscious presence is always present, always there. Accessing or access to being awareness in between thoughts is part of this early reception of a reconnective healing experience. It is the impulse of awareness or the, aha, this is what I am. This is what I am, right? And then back to sort of temporal perception or satisfaction. It's like I'm watching a movie and I can't and I don't want to see the screen. That's a really grasp-worthy metaphor to look at when we're exploring, again, the nature of temporary satisfaction when it comes to spirit or spirituality.
You know, Bridget wrote something in the chat, which is interesting, and I can see, Bridget, how you view it that way. But let's look at this together. Bridget wrote, I do not feel all these subjects are temporary, because each time you live something, even little things, it's written in you, engraved in you forever, and it evolves in different ways. You never know what it will become. All this makes us, and you never reach who you are in the essence. It's vast, but it's also like core. And yes, when connected to other space, it stays like, well, a wealth of being very free and very strong.
So let's look at this. I think it's a beautiful observation. When you say you don't look at all these subjects, are we talking about the lenses? You don't consider health or wealth or spirituality temporary? And I don't know if that's a yes or no.
Let's say health or wealth or faith.
Because each time you live something, even little things, it is written in you, engraved in you forever. And it evolutionizes or it evolves in different ways. So again, this is taking let's say this. I like what you're proposing very much, Bridget, as a lattice or a way in which we bridge that we cannot explain. So we look at the world as an open system, and every experience we have is a closure, meaning it is, in a way, exactly the way you've put it. It's something we live. It's engraved somewhere. Maybe it's engraved into the engrams, the passage, tubes of our neuronal pathways. They're sort of engrammed or engraved into that. But this and all of this, according to physics, according to science, there is no thing called a person. It is a perception. Now, we're not going to go through the world and each of our days, or even in this exchange with each other, and just say, oh, well, Christina, you're just a quark on a screen. You're just a series of quarks and impulses, and you're not really there. This,
unless you're mistaken for a lepton, and
yes,
problematic.
Right. You're not a lepton. Exactly. So at a certain intersection, these metaphors, these lenses of temporary satisfaction that are amidst and part of what we'll call all experience need to be reconciled in a way that does, in your point, Bridget, contribute to a greater world. Yes. Every experience that we have is a contribution. I would say, and this is a very personal point of view, that is at the core one consciousness, one entity experiencing self as each of us for that exact purpose. Every experience born into, we'll call this world, has a purpose. And when we will say, when we close an experience, an enclosure, we'll call it an obscuration, even if it's of the most disturbing kind, it has a purpose. It has a purpose. So I want to zip into this next.
Wait, two things first. First of all, I do want to add one thing to that right before I do. We need to say goodbye. Thank you, all of the YouTubers, for joining us. We want to encourage you to continue listening. If you join the RLC, the Reconnective Life Community in the notes, you can continue with us maybe even today and in ongoing ways. And you can also, if you want to learn more about this, access the first hour of the portal for free. So goodbye, YouTubers. And I wanted to add one other thing. If I were able to keep it in my mind, and I said that instead of my note, but oh yes. One way that might help grasp this concept we're talking about is the experience itself is finite. The gift of the experience can become more of the infinite aspect of you, more of the infinite, more of the essence, more can be the being. And we are experiencing in limited ways. Hi, I'm Eric Pearl, and we have launched an online course called The Portal. It's an expansion of our online essentials, our level 1, an 8+ hour e-learning course.
And we decided to add content because our students were asking for more. What is a portal? It's a doorway to transformation.
It includes the 8 hours of the online essentials course,
2 key chapters, one on love and one on healing, and workbooks from our worthiness episode from the series The Inner Compass.
more than 10 hours of content.
The portal helps us discover our roadblocks that may be stopping us from living our fullest potential.
How does the portal help bring about these benefits? Easy to follow short segments with interactive exercises, information acquired not only through the mind, but through interaction with the frequencies themselves. Effortless learning and personal evolution.
It brings the possibility for instant transformation, healing, and the evolution of each and every one of us in our everyday lives.
Hey there, family. Dr. Eric and Jillian here.
Welcome, everyone.
And we're very excited about Reconnective Life, our first online global community. This is the most exciting way we've been able to get together since I founded the Reconnection. It'll be a place where we can do things together. We'll move into breakout rooms at times when that's appropriate. We'll have energy interactions and meditations and exercises. In other words, expect things you haven't seen before.
You are so charged.
Things we
He is so lit about every new way we get to be together every day. Just be together. Let us just speak a little bit about what is going to be the shape of this community.
In this community, we can share and discover more. Here we can talk to each other, we can chat, we can learn from and about one another. Jillian, me, our life leaders, and you will be in daily conversation with you. Weekly, we will have Facebook Lives.
We will be with you every Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be just Eric. On occasion, it might just be me. Sometimes it'll be the two of us. It's all about giving you a way to look at the week living in the frequencies.
And in every 4th week, we will include a live Q&A so we can talk about things that have been coming up for us, discuss back and forth, share, grow, expand together.
And the ever-growing library of content that has been created over 20 years that will be on demand for you. It will be on-demand content for you to view, enjoy, share again with your inner circle.
And monthly, we are going to have live Zoom retreats.
We're going to bring in some exercises and experiences and things that previously we've reserved for our physical retreats, you know, when we were in the different location resorts and things. And we're modifying them so that we can work with these with you in your home, in your living room, in your den.
Put into the chat line, what is facility?
We're having these weekly Zoom in-depth Q&As.
Finally, they have a place and space to just define what does that really mean, living in the frequencies.
This is something that is in all of us.
Everyone can do this.
It doesn't matter how many levels you've gone through or how well you know the programs. It's a community that allows us to recognize how interrelated we all are as receivers of energy, light, and information.
See you there.
Reconnective Life, living in the frequencies every day.